So after 3 years of recovering from the trauma that is studying at Oxford University, I've got back into reading. And from December, I've read about 17 books. The issue is, though, is that I read books like their TV series. And so I read multiple books at the same time. And I kind of jump between all of them. 3 weeks ago, I made the mistake of reading two big boys at the same time. The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which is about 1,000 pages long. And then Servant of the Empire, which is over 800 pages. And it was difficult and it was hard. I was like, I can't do this. So I got into a reading slump. I was looking through the Amazon bestseller list and I saw a few books that were kind of interesting, and I was like, oh, maybe if I read some of the bestseller books, that will like kickstart my reading, and then once I've done that, I can go back and read Brandy Sandy and Seven of the Empire again. So that's what we're gonna do. I hope they're great. I hope they're good. I'm sure they'll be fun. And I'm bringing you for the ride. So enjoy. I just looked back at my footage and I saw my face. My issue is that I bought this book a while ago and I forgot what it was about. And I thought it was about a girl in a cage with a king that was mean, and that was about it. The first few pages, I'm like, I wish I had pearls because I would clutch them. I would clutch the pearls. I'm slightly disturbed, and I'm also just like, why is this a bestseller? I am 3% of the way through the book. I don't know if I'll make it. I actually don't know if I'll make it. I think I'm more concerned by the fact that she's in this golden cage prison and she doesn't hate the king, even though he's locked her up. So that's concerning. No, sorry, there's no words. No words. So I decided to sit here because I wanted my melanin to pop, and now I'm realizing I can't see. But I'm 50, let me check. I'm 62% of the way through Guild, and I have to say, the first 30%, I was shocked. Okay? I was like, what did I read? Literally, what? Why is this in the bestseller list? Why did I decide to read this book? Because I didn't know the context, yeah? Like, just bear this in mind. So I'm just going to say, I don't want to give you any spoilers, but I was concerned. I'm concerned for the mental health and stability of the main character, of the king, because what is going on? It's giving Stockholm syndrome, is giving trauma, misogyny, it is giving a lot. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But the section I'm up to now, luckily, the king isn't in this section. I love fantasy, but I love more of the action side of fantasy and not whatever is going on in this book. As I film this video, you will see the confusion that is my face, and you'll just have to deal with that. So I finished reading Guild and I had a bit of time just to think about it. And at first I wanted to give it 1.5 stars, but now I'm like, actually I don't know how to feel, because let's just start deducting the stars. Let's explain it. First of all, the king, horrible man, he keeps on calling Oren, the main character, my precious, and in my head all I can see is Gollum. So every single time this man speaks, I can just see this little balding pale gremlin in a cave going, my precious, and I'm like, ew. So we deduct a star for him. He's bad vibes. We deduct a star because there's senseless violence against women. There's no exposition, there's no analysis of the society, there's no questioning of the status quo. It's just, it is what it is, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't get behind that. We deduct a star because the main character doesn't really have a personality and she somehow loves the king, and I'm just like. And then also the fact that, like, she has no female friends, which isn't her fault, but all the females hate her, all the men lust after her, and it's just a bit weird. It's just a bit odd. Like, you couldn't just have one maid be her friend. Like, you couldn't just have, like, a few of the females take pity on her. Like, it's like, oh, everyone hates me because I'm loved by everyone. Like, ew, we're not doing that. We're not, I don't subscribe. And then the reason why there was a 0.5 is because Midas isn't in the second and third section of the book, and I was like, great, we're free of him. But she just goes on to be more horrible men, and I'm like, actually, I don't like this at all. The conclusion is that it's not profound. No, actually, it's profoundly disturbing, and the book does not end on a cliffhanger. It just feels unfinished. There's now 4 more books that come after it. Best believe I'm not reading any of them. I'm done with the book. So this is a 1 star. Hopefully, the next books that I read are at least a 3. I can't believe I'm begging, but I'm just like, please just give me a 3. Let nothing disturb my soul. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So book 2 is going to be a book that's been on my radar for a while. I did get it for my birthday, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to read it yet because I found out that there was another book coming out in January of next year. So I was like, should I read it? Should I not? And then I found out it's the 3rd installment of a 5-part series. And I don't know if I want to invest that much time and effort into a book, especially because I heard the second one isn't all that, even though I bought it. The book in question is Fourth Wing. Ooh, please. Please. This Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I did read the sample, so it was relatively interesting. Hopefully it's not disturbing like Guild, and it's just a nice little read about a girl who's learning how to become a dragon rider. Let's see how it goes. Let's see, is it worth it as a bestseller? Is it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm just over a 5th of the way through Fourth Wing, and it's not traumatic like Guild, and I like the fact that the stakes are high, so it makes it more interesting, makes you a bit more invested. This girl could leave at any moment, but she refuses to. And I'm just like, why are you so stubborn? Personally, I choose life, but she's not choosing that. It's not going to be a 1 star. I know it's not going to be 1 star. I don't think it's going to be 2 star either. So maybe this is a 3 star book. Maybe this is higher. We'll see. Guys, I just finished Fourth Wing. Ignore the face, okay? I was in bed. The emotion, the plot twists, the stakes. You know what I love? This sounds weird, but when characters die, it shows you how real the threat is that they're facing, and it just makes it more realistic, especially if there's a battle or a war or something. My heart, guys, my heart. I'm not crying, okay? I'm not crying. Look, this is nighttime hay fever. It's a very rare condition, but it's given 4.5, not 5, which is like such a improvement from flipping Guild, which I'm still disturbed by. Like, honestly, like, I might need some kind of counselling sessions or something, because that was something else, but this, oh, flip. It's not that it was a masterpiece, don't get me wrong, yeah, because, please, I've read so many books. It just makes you feel a lot. It makes you feel so much. Anyway, bye. Guys, I finished Fourth Wing last night, and when I tell you I was an emotional wreck, yeah, because the plot twists were twisting. You know, just when you think you know what's about to happen, you're like, oh yeah, I should have known, and then you keep on reading, you're like, oh, I respect this author because the stakes are high in a lot of the books that I read, but the authors don't follow through because everyone survives. In this book, when she says most of the people ain't gonna make it, they don't make it. The way that she cuts down characters, yeah, sometimes completely unexpectedly, and you're left with your mouth, your jaw dropped open. You're left shocked. You're like, huh? What do you mean dead? What do you mean, like, they're not really dead? And then there was one death towards the end of the book. I was an emotional wreck. I said, surely not. I said, they will be resurrected. Do you know what I mean? No, they weren't resurrected. They go. One thing though, they're so disrespectful to the dragons. These things could literally char you alive. And they're just sassy to the dragons. And I'm like, guys, like, where's the politeness? Where's the reverence for these creatures? Yeah. And then also, what I found interesting was like the names of stuff. So like this name, I'm gonna put it up somewhere. Yeah. I was reading it as Sagor. Then I realized the G's in the wrong location. So how do you pronounce that? You got another dragon called Tarnanach, I don't know. As a linguist, because I speak multiple languages, I found it interesting to look at the names, and I thought they'd have trends depending on like the regions where each person was from. But it seems like she kind of just was like, oh, that's a cool name, and just like threw that in there. So I don't feel like it's like so much of a trend. But it was an interesting variety, and I also liked the world building. I liked how she created this continent, the history there. I couldn't keep up, I can't lie. I couldn't keep up with the lore or with the dragon info. Like it went over my head. I was like, feather tell who. But it made the whole world feel believable. And for that reason, I'm giving it a 4. It's a 4-star. I thought this book was overhyped. When I was like, oh, it's a bestseller. I know I bought it. But I genuinely did not think it was going to be like that great of a book. I thought it was going to have like so many tropes and so many cliches. But actually, it was actually a very, very strong book, to the point where I've started the second one. Because the end of the plot twist, the plot twist at there, I was like, no. I must know what happens next. I have to. It's compulsory. So I started the next book. Yeah, that's it. So I've been loving this ring recently. It's just really cute. It's a little snake. It's a little hebby. So when I was looking through the Amazon bestseller list and I saw that there was a book called Serpent and the Wings of Night, I was like, oh, why not? That's a silly reason to want to buy a book. So I just bought it. It's about a girl called Oriya who is taken by a vampire king and then raised as his own daughter. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, this is the issue, is that I don't look into books before I read them. So let's see. I mean, surely it can't be as disturbing as Guild, but I've got pearls now. Yeah, so if it gets stressful, these are the pearls that I'm gonna clutch. So just observe. I'm a sizable way through my 3rd book of this video, and it's an enjoyable read. At first I was like, oh, this is kind of dry. I was like, ugh, do I care about vampires? Not really. She's entered this tournament, which is like the Hunger Games, Battle Royale, Last One Standing, and if you enter, you get granted a wish. So she's joined this. She's the only human out of all these vampires. Yet again, we have a protagonist here who actually just does not love life, because I don't care what you want. Why are you surrounding yourself with the possibility of death? Like, why would you do that? It's a good story, and I like the fact that you're following the storyline of their goddess, because a lot of the time when you have these fantasy books, they have a religion or a god or certain deities that they mention, but they're not really relevant, whereas this one is actually core to the entirety of the story. So you get to understand the lore and the kind of culture and background of this world through following the journey that this goddess made 2,000 years ago. So that's quite interesting. Rain is giving Bat Boy energy. If you know, you know. Yeah, he's given the same amount of energy. I recognize you. You know what? He's not as charming as Rysand. He's not as charming, but they've got the same vibe to them. The violence, Shia LaBeouf. The violence is violencing. Obviously, it's a death match, isn't it? So like, people go die. But the way that they depart from this world is just, which is why I clutched the pearls, which is why I'm wearing them again today, because I was like, I need to, for protection, I need to hold these. But yeah, overall, it's a good book. Don't think it's going to be a 1-star or even a 2-star. Like, I think it's pretty strong. It's going pretty well. So, guys, I am 92% of the way through the book. Yeah, 90% of the way through the book. She's on the last trial, and I was reading it by myself, and then I thought, the madness that I'm reading. So the pearls have been secured because I have to clutch them, not because I'm disturbed, but because I'm shocked. Yeah. So the lighting has changed because I had to go and do an errand. Then I ran back, read the last chapter. Oh my day! When I tell you it was a whirlwind. It was a whirlwind of a book. I enjoyed it. I think it's a 4-star. The way that the author sets it up for the second book, I'm like, whoo, I'm excited, I'm interested. Just enjoyable read. And I think it's a great way to end the video, because after the disturbing nature that was the first book that I read, I really needed to pick me up. So having Fourth Wing, rise through the ashes of Guild, and then having the the Serpent book, which name I don't even remember at this point. Sols. It's just great. So I guess Amazon bestsellers, I understand why some of them are bestsellers, not all of them. And hopefully now this has like kickstarted me wanting to read more of those longer books. I think the reason why I found it so hard to read Brandy Sandy and Servant of the Empire is because they were quite slow-paced books, whereas these books were quite fast. But after the intensity of all of the different characters dying and all of the different plot twists, I think I'm ready to go back into a slower read. So I'd say this was a success. And thanks for watching me descend into madness and enjoy. And see you next video.